So I did my strategic analysis, and I did the pestle analysis, the SWOT analysis, the TOES analysis, five forces model, and I did ratios and then made recommendations. So for my strategic analysis, I did the SWOT analysis, the TOES analysis, the pestle analysis, Porter's five forces, and a ratio analysis for not-for-profit organizations. So I did my SWOT, looked at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, used that information to make my TOES analysis. From that, I was able to make from SWOT and TOES analysis recommendations, which were to be competitive, research alternative opportunities, mainstream banks, credit unions, provincial and federal funding opportunities that are non-Aboriginal, develop long-term plans for strategic investing in Aboriginal economic development, look for strategic opportunities for tax savings, partnerships with educational institutions for mentor recruiting Aboriginal talent, developing case studies, and partner with other Aboriginal organizations, creating more capacity. Under my pestle analysis, I looked at the social, technological, economic, environmental, political, and legal aspects of Ulnooweg. So I looked at the analysis, what were the opportunities, and then what were the threats. From that, I was able to come up with 9 recommendations. Partner with other Aboriginal organizations, creating more capacity and take a larger role in financing Aboriginal opportunities, research alternative financing models, competitive interest rates, alternative sources of funding, increasing billable services, create partnerships for larger opportunities for Aboriginal communities, research new opportunities for revenue creation, build capacity through technological advanced services and opportunities, seek revenue creating opportunities, establishing good resource base, finding opportunities that fit Aboriginal culture. So in looking at Porter's five forces, it's clear that things aren't always black and white. I believe that competitive rivalry is low because the board of directors, who are the chiefs, are the ones mandated as the official financial institution. This gives Ulnooweg the competitive advantage. I believe that the bargaining power of funding organizations is low when Ulnooweg fulfills its economic development initiatives, which in turn saves time and money for the government. It always has a chance of being high during slim economic times and changes in federal government when you're losing some of that federal funding, or the funding comes with a lot of strings attached. The bargaining power of clients. I believe that the bargaining power of clients is low due to the fact that Ulnooweg is the only Mi'kmaq financial institution in Atlantic Canada. It provides unique resources, has created loyalty, and a strong customer focus. Strategic-based office culture. The bargaining power of clients will become higher as the Aboriginal population grows, and I believe that with the rapid increase of Newfoundland Aboriginals, it is growing fast. Ulnooweg needs to consider these circumstances. The threat of new entrants. I believe when Aboriginal people have land claims, settlements, etc., that create opportunities, other organizations may compete with First Nation financial institutions, credit unions, banks, and others. Currently, I believe the threat of new entrants is low. For Ulnooweg to have Aboriginal chiefs on the board and all of their strategic relationships, I don't believe that the threat of new entrants is high. The threat of substitute, as for strategic partnerships, ensures less substitution, so it's low. With more access to technology, rural communities may choose to bank on the internet, use internet-based institutions, and there may be lost opportunities in those fields. So my recommendations were: engage new opportunities as they arise, having the ability to be flexible, provide professional legal services to Aboriginal clients, capitalize on your competitive advantage, and look for partnering with larger financial institutions to meet your mutual goals. And for the ratios, I looked at a nonprofit ratio chart that had the reliance on sources of income. So I looked at the APC fisheries, it's at 30%. awareness of the risk of major reduction of income if this source contribution of income is reduced or stopped. So 30%. The reliance on government funding is just under 50%. Their earned income percentage is at 50%. Their self-sufficiency ratio is at 50%. Their percentage of budget for personnel is at almost 28%. The functional cost allocation was at a little over 12%. The current ratio of assets to current liabilities is 9, which is excellent, and the debt ratio is 0.11, which is excellent. So I believe that financially, based on 2012-13 figures, that Ulnooweg is in a good position. Then I'm going to just look at the MDS study recommendations, which was to establish an Aboriginal credit union. And right now, Ulnooweg is not prepared to do that because they believe that it should come from the community, not from top down. So when the community is ready for a credit union, then they'll be ready to take the lead on that. They are, though, looking at creating an alternative financing corporation and developing a business plan for that. And they did establish a working group to identify the roles of government in providing incentives for capital.